Good morning and welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries, episode 297. It's Maree here on a Monday morning, 4th of December. I know, December. I don't know where, crazy. Yes, here we are in December. And of course, what does December mean around here? It means Stitchin summertime. And because we've thrown in an extra day, meaning a Saturday, so instead of every Tuesday and Thursday, it's now Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. It started the Saturday just gone with the Skeinz Merino, which so many of you snapped up, absolutely snapped up. Good morning. It just went like that. And so we've still got a few. There was a little bit left in the shop, but no, most of that got completely snapped up. Beautiful, luscious Kiwi Merino, $4.95 a ball. It was just divine. Welcome along. And it looks, oh, there we go. Thanks. Good. Thank goodness you're here, Barbara. I was beginning to wonder that no one on Facebook was coming in. Everyone was in on YouTube. So that was huge. And the next one, of course, is tomorrow. So what I thought I would do is, because it's you guys and you, I would let you know what it is for tomorrow because it's you. And we can have a look at some of the things that we could potentially do with that yarn for tomorrow. But before I dive into that and everyone's coming in, I'll give you an update on how I am going with my knitting project. I actually worked all weekend at the other job because of things that I've got to get up to this week. So it was pretty intense. And so how many of you have had this situation where you've been really, really full on, things have been intense, and you just need to stop and decompress for half an hour? So you pick the knitting up to, have a bit of a decompress and then you carry on. So that was my plan. I thought, right, I will do a single row of the project, and then I'll feel like I've done something, and then I'll go back to what I was doing. So I did that first row, which was the wrong side row, which the wrong side rows on this. And of course, I'm doing the Field Cardigan by Camilla Baird. So the wrong side rows are easy peasy on this. It's essentially a mixture of either pearls, slip purl wise, or purl one into the back of the loop. Not hard, easy peasy. So I did the purl one, went back, did some other work, came back now, and thought, right, I need to sit down. I'm going to do the next row. And it was row 23. So I sat down, and everything up until now was working beautifully. So I sat down, and you're doing like little bundles of repeats all the way along. Went through. I'm missing a stitch. Oh, that's weird. Or maybe it's just in this repeat. So I fudged it. Kept going. This repeat's missing a stitch. No. Once I can deal with, but twice no. So I go back, read the knitting. So I get my knitting out, I look at it, I read it. Okay, let's look at the row previous. Read it. No, it all worked perfectly in the row previous, because believe me, if you don't have the requisite number of stitches, it will not work in a repeat. I'm thinking, well, that's perfect. Row previous to that, perfect. How can I be... There's no extra increase in there to give me this extra stitch. So I thought, well, I'll check the forums. So I jumped on, checked the forums, did full searches, all the rest of it. No mention of an issue on this row in the pattern. I'm thinking, surely not. Surely I can't be, So I go back through, recheck the work, double check the work, checked my stitch count. I was actually out on the stitch count, but I know why. And that was a deliberate modification on my part. So that was fine. I've decided not to, she adds these extra stitches here at the ribbing, but I've decided on the width of ribbing that I want. So that's a me thing. So I knew where I was fine there. What was between my two markers was bang on up until that point. And then, so the previous row it was bang on. And then the next set of counting, it was off. So I'm thinking, well, hold on a second. That's a series of increases in there. And I'm going through the rows. There's no increases in here. So anyway, what does the girl do? After she checks the forums and there's nothing, what does the girl do? She phones a friend. So I phone Ethan. He answers the phone. And to which I say something that I can't repeat here because it was actually quite rude. And he laughed because that's Ethan, as you know. And then he goes, oh, somebody up to row 23 of a certain cardigan? How did you know? Ha ha, he says. So anyway, long story short, apparently, depending on the version that I've downloaded and the size that I'm doing, there is actually a series of increases that have been missed out. He has struck this before himself. And I just said to him, well, okay, that's fine. Because as long as I know that, I'm good, which means that I can fudge said increase relatively easily. So I'm going to show you where the fudge is. So there we are there. I've actually gone a few rows beyond this now. And of course, now that I've fudged the increase, it's all working back beautifully again. So this is where I'm at now. So as you can see, I've got a new set of grains going, starting just here. This one here, there's a big, see that big grainy poo there? That one there in this next row is going to get buttoned off. So I've got a full thing of grain. So that one's going to get buttoned off like that. But this is the new one here. So there's apparently supposed to be another increase here. Now, right up here at the beginning, she did that actually as a yarn over. I think what she has missed in the pattern in probably the previous row is to add that yarn over. I think it was supposed to be a yarn over. It was supposed to be something. So the nice thing is that you're back to making a couple of grains in here, because that was the other thing I needed to double check is she's gone and got she does this thing here, right there, where she gets you to make this really weird as ass increase by picking up the thing with a stitch below and putting it on and la la la. You do that, and then the very next row she gets you so you increase, and then the very next row she gets you to purl those two together to the back of the loop. But I think it's because she wanted them sort of up and cross to create like a little element, which is that little element there. So it's, there. So what I ended up doing is that I ended up, instead of, because obviously I did it on the knit row and I wasn't going to go back and tink it back just to put a yarn over in. So I've actually gone and done a grain by just picking up the bar in the middle and making the grain into there. And to be perfectly honest, and because I've done it all the way across, so I've got, you can sort of see it there. So I've done it by picking the bar up, whereas back here, it's done on a yarn over. So it's fine. But it is a trick for young players. And I'd love to know where this mysterious increase is. And he said no. He's seen some... And I mean, I've got a relatively recent version of the pattern, but apparently it has been brought up in forums before and the forums have been sanitized, so I've been told. So yes, I wasn't going crazy. So now that I've put my increase in there to get the requisite number of stitches, I've kept going. So if you are doing this and you get to that row 23 and you think, oh my gosh, I am going crazy, you're not going crazy. I can tell you right now, you are not going crazy. There is definitely an increase missing, and it's the easiest thing in the world to fix, because when you go to make, you need that increase to make another grain. So when you go, because you definitely want to do it when you're doing the grain making as opposed to moving it along into this portion here. So I just literally went below, picked that bar up, twisted it onto the needle. I actually picked the bar up and made my grain into the back of it. So then that way it just sort of twisted it so my grain wasn't all loosey-goosey. So that's what I did. And it will look fine. And it's quite funny. I had a look on one of the images of close up. I zoomed it in, and mine now looks exactly, and I think someone else has actually gone and done that on one of the images that she had there, because the increase looks exactly the same. So yes, I think it is an oversight, but it didn't fix my problem, which was, as I was picking up my knitting to actually go for half an hour or so and just do a row before I went back to do my work. What it did is it got me really peeved to then I had to phone a friend and then have a rant. And I didn't get it completed because then I threw it in the basket in disgust. So I went back and actually did it later that day. And I'm now on to row 29. So I've moved a few rows on now and it's working and it's just fine. Just fine. So there you go. Trick for young players. strict for young players. I don't know why that was, but there we go. I've got it worked out now, so that's the most important thing. Oh, hold on, let me hold it up for you, just to show you what it's looking like in its entirety, because we're now getting a bit jammed on it because I have got obviously all these increases, but there you go. This is where we're at. So by probably the next day or so, I will get this last grain, this grain here. So this will pinch in, this last one here. That's make 5 on there. So that'll get pinched in. So it looks super cute once it's all pinched in. And then these grains now, so the stitches that I have in between those will be then knitted. And I think there is another series of increases in there as well. So it will now move a lot faster, because obviously these initial grains, these are very, very packed together, whereas I will actually have a little bit of knitting, a little bit of stocking stitch in between this next set. So I think this next set will move a lot faster than the first set. But let's put it this way, it looks spectacular, but I would not be, if you were wanting to do a nice relaxed knit, right, coming into the summer, nice relaxed, easy getting you in the summer field, do not select this pattern. You will not be thanking me if you select this pattern. Pick the ratio poncho, trust me, that's relaxing. This, not so much. But that's okay. It's okay. It's going to look amazing once I'm done. Right. What's on the board, Miss Ford, tomorrow? Looking lovely. Thanks, Patricia. And look, Patricia, I will say I am really, really happy with my yarn selection. I'm super happy with my yarn selection, which is the Cozy with the Whisper Fine. I am beyond happy with that. I think the colour looks fantastic. I love how it's working together. Yes, it can be a little, when you're sort of, there's not a lot of real estate, as I said to you, when you're knitting into the back of the loop with those grains and stuff. And you do have to be a little bit more mindful, particularly when you're dealing with those two strands, and one of those strands is very fine, but it is going to be worth it. And I think once I get onto the stocking stitch portion of that, the fabric will be stunning and beautiful. And yeah, no, I couldn't be happier as far as that's concerned. Right. What's on the board, Miss Ford, for tomorrow? What is on the board, Miss Ford, for tomorrow is something that we launched a while ago. We did a little something with it, and then we've not really done anything with it. And we thought, right, there's a lot of Skeinz Originals yarns here, so lots of single one-offs that are going to be in Stitch in Summer. So we had that with the merino that was on Saturday. This next one is going to be the same. It's actually 2 yarns, so two yarns, both made to exactly the same count, but 3 colours have one composition and three colours have a slightly different composition, but you can work them, interdisperse them and work them together. They are utterly amazing and really, really underestimated. So what they are, excuse me, and don't you love hay fever season? Anyway, what they are these. So there's those 3 there. So these are the 3 prints, which are all these beautiful soft monotone prints. And then we have these 3 solids. Ta-da! These are all 14 plies, beautiful soft 2-fold 14 plies, 100 gram balls, 114 meters per ball. Normal retail price on these is $9.95 a ball. These are going out tomorrow at $4.95 a ball. So half price, people, half price. What I love about these, so we've got 3 solid colors. Those are the 3 solids there. Brilliant for quick blankets if you want to do blankets, but it's actually so much more than that. At 114 meters per ball, there's a lot of really gorgeous patterns on the RAV, but you need to select just bulky to find them, right? So many of those petite knit patterns, the Sunday cardigan, the anchor cardigan, I think it's a Stockholm slipover. There's so many of them that use a DK with a mohair, and she's knitting them sort of on a 7-8 millimeter needle. Particularly these 3 here would be brilliant for any of those patterns that she does. And it's because this one, the 3 solids, are a mixture of 80% wool and 20% mohair. So the mohair has actually been blended into here. So it's actually, the handle on this is stunning, but it also just gives it the slightest halo. Okay, so it's not been brushed, but the mohair in here enough is to give it a very, very slight halo. So if you're wanting to do any of those chunkier petite knit patterns, but you can't be asked doing the double stranding, these are the yarns for you, particularly if you're wanting the mohair and the slight little bit of halo with it as well. So there's those three, which is in that blue, that beautiful, beautiful light soft silver grey, and just natural cream. So I think that one's called Natural. This one is called Flurry, and that's called Chambray. And then these three are just the straight wool, and they would also work incredibly well. They make great chunky shawls, baby bed blankets, chika with the natural in this. Actually, this with chika would be absolutely gorgeous. I think I've said to you I pulled my needle size back on the chika when I did it because I felt the needle size for the bigger one was just too big for the bulky yarn, the 12 ply yarn. Well, hello, this is the 14 ply. So you wouldn't have to change it at all. So this would be stunning with chika, and you've got the natural cream at the top, would look amazing. Absolutely amazing. So this would be great for chika. Carbeths would look good. Ursa would look good. There's so many of those worsted 12 ply bulky patterns, but especially if they're written by Americans, they tend to push the gauge out a little bit more, and they push the gauge out into what I call 14 ply territory. And sometimes the 14 ply would work a little bit better for you. And as I said, 114 meters and at $4.95 a ball. So it actually makes it really economical knitting if you're wanting to do that. So you'd only be looking, like a chika for me would be two of these, probably actually even one of these to be fair, for the collar. And then you'd be looking at maybe 500 grams after that to be able to finish that up, particularly if you're just doing the mid-length sleeve length, which is the length that I often do. So I know it's warmer weather. I know it's summer. We don't often think about 14 ply or chunky at this time of year, but at $4.95 a ball and half price, whip through and just check some of the meterages on those sorts of patterns. I've got a funny feeling the Magnolia cardigan, someone can tell me that, that's also a 14 ply. This could be the time to actually stash some of this, to actually have that for those thicker, heavier weight patterns. So you just need to know what kind of meterages that you'll be needing. But as I said, at $4.95 a ball, well, that's pretty good buying. And that's only tomorrow. So it comes on at midnight. It's only literally midnight to 11:59 tomorrow. What's in stock is what's there. And once it's gone, it's gone. And this is not being repeated because, as I said, both of these actually are surplus stocks from cancelled previous orders. So they're from yarns that we've done for someone else in previous seasons. And we sometimes have what we call white stock left on the floor. And if they don't repeat the yarn the next season, we've got just sort of stragglers, it might be 20 kilos here or 30 kilos there, and this is what this is. And we've dyed this up into these two yarns into a tight little range. And I just think they're great. And I have to admit, if you're looking, hey, there's some really wicked hats. Actually, Bronwyn Carroll, Good to Go Knits, I see she had a beautiful chunky hat. What was it? Something swirl hat. Barbara, you may know actually. That she's just rewritten and re-released for this time of year. I saw it briefly on Speakeasy yesterday. That's fantastic. Oh, Speakeasy just reminded me I haven't done the draw. I will get onto that. I'll let you know that draw next week. But Stitchin Summer. Stitchin Summer is our theme for this month. That's reminded me. I'll get on and put that tile up. So Stitchin Summer is our theme for this month. And I promise you I will get that. It's only natural drawn for Thursday. I'll let you know on Thursday. And I'm hoping to have Ethan here on Thursday. So we've put ourselves off a week since I was away last week. So yeah. And then Thursday I'll be able to tell you about what we've got on sale on Thursday. And I can't even tease you with it now because I can't remember. I looked at it briefly and it's just gone poof. I'm loading January's now, so before I head away. I know, it's just crazy. Cray. Anyway, I'm going to head off. What's the time? Yes, I'm going to head off. Keep it short and sweet today. make sure that you check out those thicker patterns so you know what sort of meterages you need. And have a look at your Rev libraries and stuff like that. You've probably got something in library that you can actually purchase this down. I know one of the things that I often do is that if I think, yes, I definitely want to do that, I'll reprint the pattern from the library, order the stock in, and put the pattern in with a bag and actually stash it in my stash cupboard complete in its bag with a pattern. So then when I go to pull it out, it's like, that's what I was intending to do with that. And in a way, it's kind of like it's you've already made up your mind. You don't have to think, oh, what am I going to do with that? Well, you've already done it. You've already made that decision. It's there. It surprises me. I go in there from time to time and I'm like, oh, that's what I was going to do with that. I remember now. I need to do it because I've got some stunningly gorgeous fancy yarns in there, and I keep like beautiful lurexes and all sorts of weird and wonderfuls that I've bought on my travels. And I've got some really pretty, just simple things that I thought, oh yeah, I'll whip that up. And then I put the pattern in and I stack it all away, and then I promptly forget about it. I know. I need to go and do that. Anyway, I'm going to head off. I will talk to you again on Thursday, fingers crossed, with young master Barclay Inu in tow, and we can find out what's happening down south in Christchurch. And yeah, we'll have a whole brand new special going on Thursday. So until then, have a great day, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.